The human-elephant conflict is still getting worse and worse rather than getting better. On the one side, the elephants are suffering, the peoples are suffering. The human-elephant conflict is kind of like a war between the people and the elephants. Villagers take it in their own hand to protect their property. Of course, I'm very much pro-elephant and I love elephants. The elephants have been here before the people moved in the area. We call it our 3Ws, woman, water and wildlife. The water quality is very poor. We have a lot of people, 40, 50 plus, which have kidney issues, kidney diseases, and they also die from it. We have set up 3, as I said, and everyone filters around 5,000 to 8,000 liters of water and makes this accessible for the people living here.
Stories of how Katharina cares are recognized far and wide. Today we dive deeper to understand her journey, her mission, and how we can join her in protecting and showcasing the very best of Sri Lanka.
But it was my very first walking safari in Botswana, so actually nobody really paid attention to what's happening around, and we didn't see the male elephant coming. I remember we were all kind of like frozen, we were kneeling down, and I was just like looking down, and I was kind of like sneaky, and I just saw legs, 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 there's a knee, legs, legs, elephant.
Katharina, thank you so much for your time. From the time I saw the conservation work you had done here at Ulagalla, I wanted to have a chat with you. But can you take me back to the beginning? Can you tell me where this conservation journey started for you?
Yeah, so becoming a naturalist took me quite a while. Since my early childhood, my parents were taking me out. We were venturing out in nature, and I loved it. I was watching documentaries about all these beautiful destinations, and at that time, these places kind of seemed to me unreachable. And it was kind of like a dream to somehow do something. Like kids have dreams, become a veterinarian. I remember my brother and me, we made plans about have a place where we rescue and breed whales, which is kind of like would have been a very big project. Of course, this never happened. And being in Germany, even though Germany is also really great and has amazing wildlife, I did not really know how to get into it and make a living out of it and get a job. And so my life continued and I was growing up. I finished school and at the end I went into retail. I was a buyer for a German retail company. I was traveling the world, but it was more like for a business purpose. At some point, my salary allowed me to travel the destinations which I knew from my documentaries at that point. And one of my biggest dreams was to see the Galapagos Islands, which I visited. And it was a long trip. It was a round trip in South America, especially Ecuador. And then we headed to Galapagos. Said so, it was absolutely amazing. And on the other side, a little bit disappointed at the same time. Because I got to see the places, but it was more like window shopping. So you see all the things, these beautiful animals, the environment, but you're not really get the inside information. What is really happening there? How are these conservation efforts planned? What's behind there? What's happening? How do things work? And in between, I had some very nice places. I remember we spent a night in the Amazon. And it was a lodge mainly made out of wood. I think one of the most basic accommodations I have ever stayed in. We didn't even had electricity. I'm not even talking about water and warm water. Just say like we were living in a wooden house. We had candles in the evening and just like lived around it. And this I think was one of my favorite places to stay in. And I just would have spent some more time there. And I couldn't being trapped in this round trip. And along the way, I met a lot of different people. That's the great thing about traveling. You make new connections. You get to know new things, things that maybe open your eyes. And that's what's happening to me. So I met a lot of people which worked with wildlife conservation and also tourist providers. And the thing about volunteering, I always thought it's something for rich kids that don't know what to do after school. And the parents just give them the piece of freedom to just do whatever you want for a year or whatever. Or for people who are retired, which have the funds and are still in a healthy condition and explore the world. And I figured out there are much more models to do these things, which also would meet my requirements of stilling in my pretty much corporate job in Germany. So this Galapagos trip was the very last trip that I actually booked as a holiday package. And from then onwards, I used my holidays, my annual leave for volunteering. It started like with 2 weeks programs, a little bit extended ones, and it was never enough. It was never long enough, never intense enough, and the community of people I met, it just became bigger and bigger, and the desire to actually stay and get more involved grew. So every time I came back home to Germany, it was really hard. At some point, I went to Africa. It was Zululand, and I participated in a conservation and research project, which was concentrating on wild dogs and black rhinos. And it was a group of young people, and the instructors were fantastic. And I had such a fabulous time. It was like we tracked down the wild dogs. We were supporting in the game counts in the reserve. We were lucky enough to also participate in a dehorning of a rhino. And unfortunately, or fortunately, in two ways, I also got to see the real side of conservation. A lot of people always think like conservation means being out in the bush somewhere. It doesn't have to be Africa, somewhere in the world. It's about looking at little baby elephants and having actually like a very good time spending time with the animals itself. Actually, most of the time, you actually do not really see the animals. It's very hard. You have to work for it. And the true reality is also we have a huge poaching issue, especially at this project where I was there. So the rhino poaching is real. And of course, everybody says, nah, yes, of course, I know it's real and it's happening. But I remember one day, or it was one evening, so I was sitting with my volunteer colleagues in our car, the instructor in the front. We are like, we're going out and exploring. And suddenly there was a call on the radio, and apparently there was poachers were entering the reserve, and the car kind of like stopped immediately. And all the volunteers, so the newbies, the kiddies, the unexperienced one, we had to immediately leave the car. And we were just told, stay there, somebody will pick you up. It was kind of like in nowhere. And that's where the things changed suddenly. So the other team members and the park management, they pulled out their bulletproof vests. They had guns, machine guns under the seats of the car, which I was actually really not aware of at the beginning. And I was just like, oh my God, something big is happening here. Of course, at that point, the car went off, and I was waiting to be picked up, which I was at the end. But at the next day, we were taken to the scene. And unfortunately, the team was too late. So the rhino actually was poached. And it was a very shocking experience. And you cannot really imagine how hard it is, how people actually can do this to a living being. So this rhino was kind of like put into pieces. So obviously the horn was gone. The way these things are happening, it's a slaughter. It's really a slaughter. It's really, really hard. And these are, I think, the real sides of conservation, which people know kind of like, yeah, it's happening. But seeing this with your own eyes, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. And there was one person which especially left a mark on me, and this was a park manager of the reserve we were in. She was also a lady, which is, I think, very special, because I think the ladies are still on an approaching point when it comes to conservation guides, ranges. It's mainly the men doing everything. And she is the person, she's still there. She's handling the poaching issues. She is managing the reserve, and it's such a tough job, and there's so many people involved. On the one side, I think it's not about raising funds and putting your face somewhere. You actually have to be out in the field, and it's a war out there, especially when it comes to rhino conservation. And I was just so impressed, and I was just like, oh my God, look at this woman, what she does and what she does for the wildlife. And it was kind of like where I said, I don't want to do what she was doing, but it was like a person I really looked up to and said like, that's really amazing. And I had a fantastic time there. Fantastic meaning also in the sense seeing all the real sides and the negative experiences I had. And same as the other volunteering experiences, I had to go back home to Germany. I had a flight from Richards Bay to Dubai. Firstly Richards Bay to Joburg, Dubai, and back to Düsseldorf. I was close to 30 at this point. Not 30 yet, but at my end of my 20s. And I was crying like a little child. It was plane by plane, and I couldn't control myself. I felt very sorry for the stewardess. I think they thought my boyfriend has broken up or something, and my holiday was over. But I couldn't control it. And at some point, the plane was arriving in Düsseldorf, and I was like, okay, come, Katharina, you're grown up. Don't be silly. Holiday is always nice. Calm down and stop crying, please. Which I did, and I went to the luggage belt. I picked up my luggage. I went to the welcome hall, and my father picked me up from the airport. And then he was just like, and how was it? And I was even not able to answer because I immediately bursted into tears again. The drive back to the place where we're living took about 45, 50 minutes. I wasn't able to talk to my father at all. And actually it continued the next day. So I really, really didn't want to go back into my reality, my old life at that point. Especially in the last place I stayed in Africa, I made a lot of connections. Again, like traveling, a lot of people there. And it took me a week until I booked my next trip to Africa. And it was kind of like... I was fine. I know, okay, I'm going again. So I was calm and I was happy. And then I left again. It was a little bit more of a different course. It was not just a volunteering program. It was more like educational training, learning about the insights, the behind the scenes. And I spent some time in South Africa and in Botswana. And it was lovely. I had a very special sighting. So that was actually when I did my first walking safaris. And of course, everybody likes elephants. So that's nothing special because they're great and everybody likes them. But it was my very first walking safari in Botswana. And we were walking and we saw already from quite far a herd of elephants approaching. And we were all excited, and together with our guides at that point, we kind of like figured out where to sit and where to wind direction, sun, whatever you have to consider to make sure you get a wonderful sighting without disturbing the animals. So we went ourselves in a very nice position, and the elephants were coming, and they had a lot of little ones, and it was just one of these sightings where you think it's just absolutely amazing. The fact that we were on foot and not in a car, of course, made it even more special. And at some point, the herd was just past, and we were all looking at everybody was smiling. We were all like kind of like on a little high about what we have seen right now. And that's actually where, I will not say that's where things actually really went wrong, but so actually nobody really paid attention to what's happening around. And me also very unexperienced at that point, did not really know about what had happened there. Now I can kind of like very well understand what happened there. But in the moment we were all kind of like celebrating these sightings. Male bull in must was following the breeding herd, looking for ladies, and we or us all being busy with what we have just experienced, we didn't see the male elephant coming. So it turned out that this male elephant was just standing in front of us, or kind of like behind us. And it was like this one face-to-face, eye-to-eye situation. I remember we were all kind of like frozen. We were kneeling down, and I was just like looking down, and I was kind of like sneaky, and I just saw legs, 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 legs. There's a knee, legs, legs, elephant. And there were these moments where this elephant and me, of course, there were other people, but I was very much focused on the elephant at this point. So where the eyes are looking, you kind of like see there is a connection. You kind of like try to figure out what is happening the next moment. So you're like, could see the elephant also was a little bit surprised of us seeing there. And it turned out after like a little stare, the elephant kind of like decided these guys are okay, and he just went on his way. But after the sighting, I felt like you get this feeling when you feel like the tears are shooting in your eye. But it's like, was I scared? Was I excited? Was I happy? I was like all the emotions at the same time. I didn't really know what I was feeling. I was like very much mixed up. But it was special. So even though this situation shouldn't have been happened, we should have been more aware about our surroundings, which I know now. It was a sighting which I very well remember until now, and which also was like one of the moments where I said there is something. Elephants are just more, and I know elephants can't talk, right? But there is something about them. And so this course also, again, came to an end. And we were sitting around the campfire. I think it was the last night. And we went around, and everybody was supposed to talk about, like, how was the time? Did you have a good time? What are you taking home? What are your plans for the future? And I'm actually... by now, I'm much more talkative than before, but especially when it comes to my feelings, emotions, I always kind of like blocked it a little bit. I kept information very short. Yeah, I'm happy, I'm not happy. So I was a little bit scared because I saw one by one everybody was telling his story, and I said, okay, it's my turn. And I thought I can manage. We'll just make a short and sweet answer. But then it was my turn, and I again bursted into tears and said, I don't want to go back home. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And then it was a little bit difficult. So I did not directly get like the support and yes, you can do it and put in some effort and you can build something up. It was more like, okay, there's another German lady who sings in the romantic way of living in the African bush, elephants for breakfast and cheetahs at sunset, and in between maybe the pilot comes in his fancy airplane. But the thing was actually, so the more basic and the more I was away from the civilization and everything, so the more I enjoyed I was doing. And I went back again, flying back to Düsseldorf, and my father again picked me up, and he asked me how was it. So same question as last time, and I said it's fine. It was very good. This was a moment where my father already recognized something has happened, and we might be in trouble. And that's how it was. So I made up my decision. I gave up my job. I sold most of the things that I had. I rented a tiny little garage and put like most of the things which I thought are most valuable and I might need them again. I put them there. And I moved to Africa to qualify myself and get trained. It was planned for a year. But since then, I never really returned back to Germany except now to go on holiday to Germany.
Let's chat about the beautiful Sri Lankan elephants. Tell me about your journey with Sri Lankan elephants and how the elephants play a part of this beautiful ecosystem that surrounds us today.
In 2 months, I'm 5 years in Ulagalla. And when I started working at Ulagalla, I was actually not really very much aware about the abundance of wildlife inside the property and around. We have lots of fun activities. We have lots of sports activities. There are lots of cultural and historical sites around. And when I started at Ulagalla, we were actually in the peak of the COVID. So honestly speaking, I by myself and my team, we were not that busy. Which now I can say was of great advantage, because we made use of the time and we explored the area. We set up camera traps, and it was actually really amazing to see how much wildlife is within the property. It's 58 acres and we only have 25 villas, which leaves a lot of space for animals. We have water, we have food, we have hiding places. So it's a lot of great environments for all sorts of animals. And we found lorries, we found fishing cats, we have lots of reptiles. The bird life is amazing. And even though knowing that we have an elephant population around this, and especially here in this area, I did not really expect to see much elephants beside going to the national park. And one day, I think it was in January 2021, one male elephant walked past our camera, which was really a highlight, because it was like, yes, we have elephants. So I was super excited. And it was a tusker, and he was the very first elephant I personally saw around here outside a national park. At this point, it was an elephant. I didn't know much about him, and we put in quite a bit of effort to capture more about him, get to know more about him. And at the same time, we also got very much more aware about the issues in this area. Having elephants is great, but it's you have to see from which side you're looking at it. So me working in a hotel and having guests and tourists coming, showing them an elephant is an absolutely highlight for them. And that's also why a lot of people also come to Sri Lanka. It's not that they only come for elephants, but the elephants are parts of the experience. People want to see elephants, they want to see culture, they want to see history, they want to see the leopard, the oceans, the mountains, the tea country. And without the elephant, it would miss something. But for the people living around the property, the elephants are not always a blessing. So we have had and will have big issues with regards to the elephants coming into the villages, coming into the rice fields, and eating the harvest of the people, which is on the one side a huge financial damage for the people. On the other side, it's also a high risk. Just let's be honest, even if you love elephants, but nobody wants to have an elephant in the backyard. Lots of issues are coming up. So on the one side, the elephants are suffering, the peoples are suffering. The human-elephant conflict is kind of like a war between the people and the elephants. Villagers take it in their own hand to protect their property, which is quite difficult to judge. So of course, I'm very much pro-elephant and I love elephants. But if you are actually making your income with this specific harvest, and an elephant comes, just by walking through, he can cost you a lot of money. And when it comes to feeding your family, to making sure that you can survive until the next month or day by day, I'm actually not sure what I personally would do, because at some point you have to take care of yourself as well. So it's very hard to say like the villagers do wrong or the elephants need to go away, because on the other side, the elephants have been here before the people moved in the area. Beside looking at the elephant and being hyped having an elephant here, we actually started looking into the issues that we have here and how we maybe can support. And unfortunately, I'm very much aware that I or anybody here won't be able to solve the problem, but how can we do our part to mitigate the issues a little bit and support a coexistence, which I struggle to say the word, because this coexistence is not existing, and I'm not sure if we will achieve it at any point. At the moment, I think the human-elephant conflict is still getting worse and worse rather than getting better, and it takes big changes to really achieve something there that the elephants and the people living in this area can benefit from it. One step was firstly that we actually started our research work to get an idea what elephants are we talking about? How many elephants are here? When are they coming? How is it connected to the harvesting season? Are they only coming for then? Are they always here? Where are they? So it actually started in a lot of paperwork, a lot of night shifts, trying to find, and quite often you really try to see elephants and you just don't see them. It's really incredible how these big animals can disappear within seconds, but on the other side they can also appear within seconds, which makes it also so dangerous and difficult. We are working together with other researchers. So it's not just to put a nice Excel sheet on the wall somewhere that it looks like we are doing something. So we really try to support in a way possible from here, because I think nobody still really knows what is really happening. Everybody's well aware about the incidences, about the cases where people and elephants get damaged, where people and elephants get killed, but it's just 2 or 3 names of elephants which became famous for this or this reason, but it's so many elephants, and it's still a long journey to find out more. So I'm here for 5 years now, and let's say we have data collected. We are now in year number 4, which is very exciting and interesting, because now after a long time of collecting data, we are at a point that the data starts telling us something. So this is actually most excited. Of course, you need to be into it. So I sometimes get very excited about some numbers, and everybody is kind of like, so what's wrong with this woman now? It's just like, but that's what I'm doing. So like, you need a little bit of passion. So I'm actually happy about my team that I have here. They're very supportive in collecting data. They, so the moment I said, let's go out, let's find something, they're like, okay, let's go. And I think that's the main thing. Like, you can't do this job just because it's your job, maybe. You really need to be like, have the passion for it. You need to be interested, especially conservation. Sometimes, when it comes to working hours, it's just like, if it's now, then it's now. And it doesn't matter if you're tired, because you really try to achieve something. And I'm very happy, actually, being in Ulagalla, that from the very beginning, even though we never actually really planned all these elephant things and the projects, that the management was really interested from the first day onwards, and they have been very supportive, and they helped us very much to get the projects and the research and everything which is connected. We got everything done quite quickly. I'm very thankful for that. So actually, you need a team which is keen to do it, but of course you need like the support from the company behind you, that's really great. So
for our audience that is just getting to know elephants, and even for those who've seen elephants around before, can you tell me a couple of surprising facts about elephants that people really need to know?
Yeah, talking about elephants, I don't want to talk about too much scientific. So I really like observing elephants, and I think it's really absolutely amazing to see how social these animals are. Of course, we know elephants are living in a herd, so of course they are social. But we have bigger herds, we have smaller herds, and it's kind of like they are related. So it's like a big family. And at some places you can see like where different herds are coming together, and you get this excitement It's like a family come together after a long period of separation. And you can see how the elephants are excited to see each other. They come running, they start trumpeting, and it's like a little like a Christmas celebration or Aurudu, where the family is just coming together. You're hugging each other, you're smiling, you're kissing each other, and exactly the same elephants are also doing. They're touching each other with his trunk, so like this physical connection as well, smelling each other, touching each other, putting the trunk into each other's mouths. Like, I think it's a huge sign of trust as well. The trunk is the most important part of an elephant. And they do very, very well remember. It's this family bonding, and it's so dominant in these animals. And even the physical touch, like a lot of people say that emotions are kind of like something which is very restricted to human, like a lot of other things which humans say this is just ours. Animals don't have these things. Maybe the word is not emotions, but there's definitely a connections between elephants. They remember each other, they know each other, and they're also kind of like take care of each other. And I think this physical connection, it's just absolutely amazing to see, and just adds up on that elephants are just super amazing animals.
Having lived in Sri Lanka for many, many years, I know of the drinking water issues that surround this area. I was heartened to see the work that Ulagalla has done to support the community with good drinking water. Tell me a little bit about the project, but the impact it's had.
So, so if you look around here, so the scenery and the area around is actually quite green. Said so, this area is actually one of the driest area in Sri Lanka. Because we have only one main rainy season of the year. It's in the rainy season, there's a lot of water coming down. And it kind of like is captured in the lakes and in the ground. And most of the people around here, they have their own wells. So they have the opportunity to reach water, to have water. But the water quality is very poor. We have a lot of people 40, 50 plus, which have kidney issues, kidney diseases, and they also die from it, which is really, really sad, because water is something very essential, and having access to clean, drinkable drinking water, I should think nowadays should be normal. Here it's not normal. So we really have the issues that if you drink it over the years, so the people living here, they are born here and they drink it for 40, 50 years. And at some point it accumulates and you will get sick. And UGA has their water project. We call it our 3Ws. Woman, water, and wildlife. You can make the order according to your wishes. They are all very important. And these water projects, we are active all over the island. We have quite a few properties, but especially around Ulagalla, the situation is quite bad. So we by ourselves within the property, we of course have a reverse osmosis plant to also treat the water that we have in the property. But even more important is that we wanted to supply water to the people around here. We have set up in the last 4 years, we have set up 3 reverse osmosis plants around the property. It's kind of like a filtering system, which makes the water drinkable. We have 3, as I said, and everyone filters around 5,000 to 8,000 liters of water, and makes this accessible for the people living here. We have usually one person from the village employed taking care of the plant, checking daily everything is in order, that everything is functioning, reporting to us if something is wrong, and also keeping a little bit of a logbook and making sure that no one is misusing this plant. And if you go to these plants, you can actually see it's very busy. So the people come, they take their little canisters and they tap their drinking water. And it's the villagers are very appreciative and thankful. So even though maybe they already have a kidney disease, or maybe they have been drinking this water for 40 or 50 years or 60 or whatever, the fact that they can supply drinking water to their grandchildren, to their own kids, I think it's a big improvement to their life, and something very important less they have to worry about.
For somebody traveling to Sri Lanka, tell me some of those key facts they need to know about Sri Lanka, but also about how Ulagalla can be a beautiful base for them to explore the best of Sri Lanka.
So first of all, Sri Lanka is a beautiful destination. And I think people do not really know enough about the island yet. I have to be honest, my husband is Sri Lankan, and we did not meet in Sri Lanka. We met in South Africa. And the moment he told me he's Sri Lankan, I was like, yeah, Sri Lanka. But I was not really aware what Sri Lanka is about. I know it's an island. I know roughly where it is. But just when I came the first time to visit my now husband, I really got to see Sri Lanka. And I think one of the major things is, even though the island is very small, that the diversity is absolutely amazing. I think you can't see anywhere else the amount of different environments, the amount of wildlife, different ecosystem, landscape, from the ocean, mountains, rainforest, deserty type, like everything is here, and you can reach everything within like half a day of traveling. So this really fascinated me. And the main reason actually that made me stay and feeling home in Sri Lanka, beside my husband, of course, is the Sri Lankans itself. I think the Sri Lankan people, they have a very great sense of hospitality. And it's not that they do it because they have learned it and they know how to host people, how they are friendly. I think it's kind of like in the nature of the Sri Lankans. Wherever you go, the people are smiling at you. Wherever you go, people are helping you, they are greeting you. Even if you go through the village, the person might maybe not have a lot, but there would never ever be a situation where people would not take care of you. Like if they see you need something, you need support, the people are just helpful and they're friendly, and they do it for free. It's not like in other places where you're like, he wants to sell me something, or maybe he's expecting something. They just do it because they are nice people from the heart. And I always wish that everybody who is coming to Sri Lanka on a holiday, because I get this question quite often, what is special for you in Sri Lanka? And I said, I hope that in the limited time you maybe have on your holiday, that you get to experience the same that I'm experienced the last 7 years, that the Sri Lankans are just like really good-hearted people that make such a huge difference in your stay. And Ulagalla especially, I really love this place. I'm home in Kandy, but still not sure which one I would call home more, if it's like Ulagalla or Kandy, because I spend so much time here. We are a little bit off the touristy areas. We have lots of green around. We have still lots of wildlife around. And I think this is actually the perfect combination if you want to see Sri Lanka, if you want to experience Sri Lanka, because the property itself is very quiet, calm, but you can just take a bicycle, you can drive through the village out there, and you can see Sri Lanka in a way which is not adjusted to any tourism, if you want to call it like this. You have the little caddy shop there. You have the guy who is bringing his buffaloes in the morning to graze in the dried out tank. You have the fishermen. You have the kids go to school. On the other side, you can really see how hard these people are working in the paddy field, how much effort they put in to really achieve the having a harvest in 2 or 3 months. And I think as a tourist, it's Very important you have a good time. It's very important you go and see a lot of highlights attraction. But if you really want to visit the country, you should also see how the country is doing, what the people are dealing with, what they are maybe also struggling with, to really also take something back home. And in Ulagalla, you have the perfect combination of being comfortably and luxury accommodated so that you don't have to worry about it, but you really also have the opportunity to see how life is in Sri Lanka. And additionally, you can go, we are in a perfect position. You can see Sigiriya, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, really places you have to see when you go to Sri Lanka. On the other side, we have a lot of wildlife destination. We have the Mineria National Park in this not too far distance. We have the Vilpatu National Park. So actually, you can reach everything from here and get a really, really authentic insight into Sri Lanka itself.
Katrina, thank you so much for making the time in the middle of your busy day to have this conversation, but to illuminate our audience into the wonderful work that you do every day. Thank you for your efforts, and thank you for shedding some most useful light on the beautiful individuals that you look after every day.
Thank you.